Hey guys, just making another video. The feedback's been fantastic and you guys have been really welcoming in regards to me uploading topics on Dragon Ball. Yeah, I'm happy to start uploading more often if you guys would like to see me back. Yeah, thank you for all the kind words in the comment section. I really appreciate it. Today's topic is Dragon Ball Z Kai and how I came to love that variation of the show. I'll just preface this video with saying that whichever way you like to watch the show, great. I'm happy for you to watch it however you want to watch it. This is my experience of Dragon Ball. I obviously got into Dragon Ball through morning television. In Australia it was called Cheese TV, and that was the 90s dub, little bit of the Ocean dub, then went into the Funimation dub, and you know, the Bruce Faulkner soundtrack. Even though he didn't record most of that soundtrack, he only had a small part to play in some of the soundtrack. Do your research there. Yeah, but I kind of fell out of love with that version of the show probably around 2010, 2011, when Dragon Ball Z Kai started to pick up. And it was really a realization that the voice acting was more mature in Kai. It was more accurate to what was in the manga. And even though small portions of it were plagiarized, the Yamamoto score for me is just a better score. I love the modern score. The Kikuchi score from the original Dragon Ball Z, great soundtrack. And I personally have the Japanese Dragon boxes for Ball, Z and GT, and I love watching the show that way. However, I do really like the modern music in Kai. It modernizes the show. The new dialogue is fantastic. Chris Sabat, who obviously, as you guys know, is the voice of Vegeta, Piccolo, the Dragon, Yamcha, many others. He's the ADR director. He and Sean Schemmel, voice of Goku, have both come out and said, you know, for them, Kai is the definitive way to watch the show. That doesn't mean you have to view it that way, but they view it as the definitive way to watch the show in English, because the dubbing is just so much more accurate, more mature. There's no made-up, corny, cheesy dialogue. And yeah, that's one thing I love about the show, the music and the more mature dialogue. The fast pace would probably be the next thing. Love the fast pace. I got my partner into Dragon Ball. She started by watching Dragon Ball, which I recommended to her, and then when it got to Z, I couldn't really in good faith get her to watch 291 episodes, especially when the dubbing is really poor in the original dub, and I just recommended Kai to her. And she absolutely loved it. So she went through a different way of watching it, in that she watched Dragon Ball and then got this great revelation in episode 1 that Goku was from space and, you know, from Planet Vegeta. And that opening scene of Kai from the TV special, that's a really interesting way to open the series. You don't have to love it, and a lot of purists don't like that. However, I really enjoy the opening of Kai with Bardock, and yeah, the opening of Kai is just so unique, and it's the only version of Z that opens that way. And for her to go through her journey with Kai to now getting a tattoo of Dragon Ball Z and loving Super as well, it was just, yeah, it was another kind of really enjoyable thing for me in Kai, is watching my partner go through the experience of watching it. And yeah, it was really cool to see. The other thing would have to be the updated artwork. I love the new eye catches. You know, Kai has eye catches every 5 or so episodes that update. The final chapters has quite a few new eye catches as well. Yeah, the updated art as well in the episodes. When there's damaged frames of animation, they draw in a new animation, or new cells, I should say, of animation. And some of it can be a bit hit and miss. Some looks better than others. But it's nice and it's appreciated, and some of the updated artwork does look quite good. But I love the new intro. I love the eye catches halfway through. The music for me in the intro and outros is really catchy. I enjoy that as well. And the final chapters, whilst not as good as, you know, Kai episodes 1 through 98, I still really enjoy the final chapters in comparison to the original dub of the Buu arc in English. Again, better dialogue, love the voice acting, and the soundtrack from Sumitomo, who replaced Yamamoto, Really, really love Sumitomo's music. It's got kind of a Final Fantasy sound to me in a lot of his songs or his pieces of music. And I love that he carried on his music from Kai into Battle of Gods, Resurrection of F, and he did a lot of the music, or pretty much all the music for Super as well. I really, love Sumitomo's music. So for me, that being in the final chapters is a bonus. Obviously, there's a con to Kai, the final chapters, which is it is in 16:9, whereas episodes 1 to 98 is in 4:3, and you really have to go looking on the internet. I personally will only download episodes if I own the discs. I obviously own all of Kai, start to finish, in physical form. So I went out and downloaded a Blu-ray copy that had the color correction, because there is a green tint to Kai, the final chapters. So that's not present in the copy that I watch, which is a bonus. But yeah, definitely as well with episodes 1 through 98. If you haven't seen Kai, definitely recommend downloading episodes 1 through 98 with the Yamamoto score if you own the physical copies of it, because it is a much better show with the Yamamoto score. And really, I've gone through and listened to the back catalogue of Yamamoto's music that was plagiarized, and it is plagiarized, don't get me wrong, but it's very minute amounts, and it was really disappointing that they pulled it from the show. That doesn't stop people from putting the broadcast audio, or broadcast music I should say, back into Dragon Ball Z Kai, the way it should be. The other thing I love about Dragon Ball Z Kai is the voice acting. Some notable ones would be Gohan's voice, which is a bit of a controversial one. Some people prefer Stephanie Nadolny. Definitely think she's a great Kid Goku, but for Kid Gohan, I prefer a bit of variance and a bit of a difference between Goku and Gohan's voice. I love Colleen Clickenbeard doing Android 18 as well. Much more feminine and soft-spoken. I personally like that more than Meredith McCoy. Again, these are all my preferences. Please feel free to put your preferences down below. I'll reply to as many comments as I can. Chris Ayres as Frieza. You can't leave Chris Ayres as Frieza out. Obviously, he's been replaced because he has passed away. And Damon Mills, off memory, I think it is, voices him in Super. Does a great job as well of emulating Chris's kind of, the way he speaks and the mannerisms in his voice. He does a pretty good job of doing that as well. But Chris Ayres, obviously, fantastic voice of Frieza. I loved when Frieza came back as Mecha Frieza in Kai, and they gave his voice kind of a cyborg sound because of the mechanics. And I love that sort of stuff. And I thought that was great. I also love, there's a little secret in that episode, which some of you may have picked up on. When Trunks goes in and punches the trooper for Frieza that reads his power level as 5, you hear him get hit by Trunks. He goes flying up against the side of Frieza's ship, King Cold's ship, slides down, and he says, "Only 5," in a really kind of light, as he's getting knocked out, light voice. And that was a cool little Easter egg. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I'd love to hear your experiences of Dragon Ball down below, how you got into the show. Obviously, Kai is not my only way I watch the show, but in English, it's the only way I watch the show. In the original dub, I definitely watch Ball Z GT with the Japanese dub only, because I find that the dubs are just better, and there's not really, in my opinion, any good releases that have the English dub. You can't go out to the shops and buy a good 4x3, has the Japanese title cards, has the next episode previews, has all the film grain not removed. There's no good definitive releases for Dragon Ball Z and GT to buy. Kai, however, there is. They're harder to get now. You have to buy them on Amazon and eBay, but if you go out and buy Kai online, aside from the Yamamoto score being removed, depending on which release you get, unfortunately, that's the only negative. But apart from that, you're going to get a great dub in English. It's got the next episode previews. It's got Japanese title cards if you buy the Blu-rays from Japan. But it's got great title cards with new artwork. That's another thing. I love the title cards from the start of Dragon Ball Z Kai all the way through to the end of Dragon Ball Super. It's all uniform. Every title card's uniform. It has the same text. The new custom artwork that they've done for Dragon Ball Z Kai and the final chapters is fantastic. And Doc Morgan, before I forget, great narrator. Doc Morgan is the narrator for Dragon Ball Z Kai, and he also was the narrator in Dragon Ball Super as well. So in English, if you're watching the English dub and you want complete uniformity, apart from the aspect ratio being changed in the Buu saga, Kai's a great way to go. You'll have really good voice acting from the start all the way through to the end of the Buu arc, and then when Super starts, you've got Doc Morgan as the narrator. The title cards look the same from Kai as they do in Super. Same text, like the font that they use in the title cards. And you get your next episode previews in Kai all the way through till the end of Super. Some fallacies, I guess, about Kai that a lot of people wouldn't understand unless they've watched it. It was censored on Nicktoons when it was first airing on TV. However, go and watch a scene where Frieza impales Krillin in his second transformation, or first transformation, second form with his horn. There's no less blood. Go and watch when Dr. Gero impales Yamcha with his hand or fist. There's no less blood. It's not censored. Go and watch Cell when he shoots his death beam at Gohan or at Vegeta, and Gohan gets hit in the arm. There's no less blood. So there really is no less blood. There's maybe one or two scenes in the entire show. One comes to mind is there's less blood when Raditz and Goku get impaled by the special beam cannon. Makanko Sapo, as they say in the Dragon Ball Z Kai dub. They use the Japanese names for the first couple of arcs, and then around the Androids arc and the Cell arc, they change it back to the English names. But that's really the only scene. There's still blood coming out of Raditz's mouth, but not the big hole in Goku's body. That's been slightly pulled back a little bit in terms of gore. But apart from that one scene, and maybe when Vegeta dies, when Frieza kills him, again, Vegeta's got blood coming out of his mouth. That's really it. There's not much censoring in Kai at all. And that's something that people really go a little over the top with in their assertion or view of Kai when they say, oh, but Kai's censored, there's no blood in it. Complete fallacy. It's not true. I guess the other part that I would like to bring up would be the length and how quickly you can get through Dragon Ball from start to finish, or Dragon Ball Z, I should say, from start to finish. It's a great way to watch the show if you haven't got the time to sink into Z. So I would definitely recommend it there. If you haven't got a lot of time, definitely watch Dragon Ball Z Kai, because you'll get through it a lot quicker. 98 episodes and you've already finished the Cell arc and seen Trunks go back and defeat the androids and defeat Cell. You still get to see a little bit of Pikkon as well, in other world. So that filler with Goku fighting Pikkon, really cool filler. I love that filler. It's in Kai a little bit, but only in like a brief kind of, clip. But if you like filler, that's the beauty of Kai. You can still go and watch the filler. It's still there. It's not like it ceases to exist, but you don't have to watch it in Kai. You have the option to just watch through without it. But I think I've covered everything I love about Kai. I'll definitely do another video probably on what I love about filler and what I love about the original Dragon Ball Z dub. That'll cover mainly the Japanese side of things, because I must say I've kind of grown out of the phase of liking the English dub in Z and Ball and GT. It's just for me personally, it's a really corny dub, and I can't watch it. The dialogue's a bit cheesy, the music doesn't fit for me. But if you like it, that's fine. Leave a comment down below what you watch, how you watch Dragon Ball, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.